By far the most common question I get is how do I redeem my credit card points for the best value? So in this video here, I want to sort of start a new series on how to redeem your points like a pro with 4 easy to follow step-by-step examples that you could just basically copy and paste and use for yourself. Starting with example number 1 here, which is going to be a flight in business class to Italy, one of the most popular travel destinations in the world. Now there's a number of different ways to make a flight like this work, but one of the best options here is going to be on sort of a secret flight that's not on any US or Italian-based airline, but it's actually going to be on Emirates, which is based in Dubai. Emirates has a few of what are called fifth freedom flights, which are just essentially where you have a flight that's between 2 countries, operated by an airline whose home country is in neither one of those, but they sort of just connect to their home country after stopping somewhere else on the way first. So in this case here, that specific route for Emirates is from JFK in New York to Milan, Italy, before the plane then continues on to Dubai. But what's so cool about this here is that you're going to get the opportunity to fly in a double-decker Emirates A380 plane, where a business class ticket not only gets you a lay-flat seat with amazing comfort and service, but you also get access to an actual onboard lounge and bar, which is unlike anything else. Now, the best way to book this most of the time is going to be by going through Emirates directly. So step 1 here is to figure out which credit card points currencies transfer over to Emirates by looking at the transfer partner guide that I created. And over there, we can see that Amex, Chase, Capital One, Citi, and Bilt all transfer at a 1-to-1 ratio. For step 2, we now have to find award availability. And for this, if you have a specific date in mind that you want to travel on, then you can just head over to the Emirates website and just log in or create a free account. And then from there, you can go to the advanced search page and set up your search kind of like I have it on the screen here by clicking on Book Classic Rewards Flight. And then you also want to be searching for Emirates flights only that are one way. Now, you can always rewind and rewatch this video later on just to make sure you set up your search correctly. But next, we also want to make sure that we search for JFK as the departure airport and then Milan Malpensa MXP as the arrival one. And then we can also select the date that we want to travel and choose business class. And then we should be all set to go ahead and click on search. If that date you want to travel on has availability, then you're going to be in luck here. And you're also going to see a business class seat is available for 87,000 miles plus around $106 for taxes and fees, which is just the standard price at the time of filming. But if you see this page here showing you a price for over 140,000 miles plus over $1,500, that is not going to be an award ticket and definitely not a good deal. Now, one of my biggest tips when it comes to searching for these points and miles deals is to try to have at least some flexibility with your travel dates. And that's because we can't really control what dates are going to have award availability, and we also can't control when new award seats might get released by the airline. So having that flexibility is just going to give you a much better chance of finding those points and miles sweet spots, at least for business and first class, because there definitely is going to be a little bit more availability on economy style stuff, which we'll talk about later on if you're not really interested in the business class things. Now, let's assume you can't find any availability on whatever date you initially wanted to travel on, but you do have some flexibility. So in that case there, one of my favorite tools that I recommend using next here to find award availability and save a ton of time in the whole search process is called seats.aero. There's some other good tools out there as well, but I tend to find myself coming back to this one most of the time as sort of a starting point in my search process. And there's going to be a free version of this as well as a pro version that's around $10 per month or $100 per year. But trust me, it is very much worth it in my opinion, because you can search for flights up to 1 year in advance in the pro version versus only up to 60 days in advance in the free version. I'll leave a link down below to seats.aero if you want to go ahead and check it out. But again, totally up to you. However, to show you how easy the tool really makes the whole search process, I can go ahead and enter in JFK to MXP and then search for, let's say, mid-October next year. And then I like to search for around plus or minus 14 days or so. That way I can see what's available for almost the whole month. Here I can see there's going to be nonstop availability on the 13th and a bunch of other days as well, which is going to be indicated by these green boxes in the results that I can sort by. And then if I go back over to the Emirates website, I can now plug in that date and then find out that yes, there is going to be award availability on the 13th, which is great. Now after that, for step 3, before we transfer any points or book anything, we also want to make sure we're getting actually a good deal here with this redemption when comparing to the cash price of this ticket. So if we just go ahead and run the same search for the cash price of this business class flight, we can see that we have to pay $2,861, which is obviously pretty high. So to see if this would be a good deal, what we have to do is take that cash price and then subtract the fees of $106 on the award ticket, because the difference there is going to be the actual amount of cash that we're saving in between these tickets. And then we can also divide that number by 87,000 points that we'd have to transfer from one or multiple of those credit card points currencies we talked about earlier. And that's going to give us around 3.17 cents per point in redemption value, which is pretty good. Now, some people don't actually want to fly business class just because it can eat up a lot of points, and I totally get that, because you got to sort of balance out how fast you earn your points and then how fast you redeem them. So what if you still want to go over to Italy, but maybe just stretch your points out a little bit further with a nice premium economy flight instead for this next example? So step 1 with this, because I don't know exactly what airline I'm going to fly or what program I have to transfer points to. So what I'm going to do here is start with seats.aero, or again, you can go ahead and search manually on different airlines yourself. itself, but that'll just take a bit more time. But I'm gonna do that same search again for mid-October, plus or minus 14 days for the search results. But for this search here, I'm gonna say that I wanna fly directly to Rome instead with the airport code of FCO, which I'll put in as the destination. Now, the cool thing that I could do here, if I'm willing to just sort of position myself to any East Coast US city to fly directly over to Rome, is that I can enter in EST as the origin, which is gonna tell Seats.aero to search for any major East Coast airport in the US. So then clicking on search for that, I can see what's available. I'm gonna sort this based on the premium economy fares, just because those seats are a bit more comfortable for such a long flight, and the prices here aren't really even that much more expensive than the regular economy. And here I could see a deal for 35,000 miles that's bookable with Alaska Airlines, which is still flying out of JFK just like the last example. Now, if I go ahead and click on that, we could see this is actually gonna be an American Airlines award flight. But the reason that it's bookable with Alaska is because, according to my transfer partner guide, they are both going to be a part of One World Alliance. So what I would do here next for step 2 in this example is I would then search on both American and Alaska's website for the cash and the points prices to just compare and then confirm what's the best deal here. Over on American's website, we could see that a premium economy fare for this flight is going to be $1,321, or we could redeem 43,500 American miles plus around $5. But the problem is that currently no major credit card points currency transfers directly over to American. However, I know that right now there's 2 currencies that actually do transfer over to Alaska, where the pricing over there can sometimes be even better than American. So if we check out Alaska's website, then we're able to confirm that Seats.aero was correct, and this flight's available for 35,000 Alaska miles plus $19 for taxes and fees. Now, step 3 here involves just a bit of recent insider knowledge that only credit card pros might know about when it comes to booking award seats with Alaska at the moment. So normally what I do is I check my transfer partner guide and then see that Bilt is the only major currency that transfers directly to Alaska, but maybe we don't have enough Bilt points at the moment. So the tip here is the current state of the new partnership between Alaska and Hawaiian Airlines after they just recently finished merging. So what you can actually do is transfer Hawaiian miles directly over to Alaska at a 1-to-1 rate. And since American Express transfers to Hawaiian, that means that now they also technically indirectly transfer to Alaska. So what I would personally do here is transfer 35,000 Amex points over to 35,000 Hawaiian miles, and then I would log in and link both my Hawaiian and Alaska accounts together, where I can then transfer those 35,000 miles over to Alaska super easily, super quickly, and then book that flight. Remember though, we do have to go ahead and calculate the cent per point value first, just to make sure we're getting a good deal here before we start the whole transfer and booking process. So to do that, we would take the $1,321 cash price for this premium economy ticket, and then subtract the $19 in taxes and fees with the award ticket over on Alaska. And we do that again because that represents our cash savings between these 2 options. Then we can divide that by the 35,000 points that we be redeeming here, which again is originating from our Amex and our Bilt accounts if we have those points currencies. And that is going to give us 3.72 cents per point in value, which is also a pretty good deal. Now, obviously, that's not going to be a path that everyone out there would know how to take unless you watched a video like this or you read some sort of an article or a guide on how to do that. So luckily, to help keep you guys up to date on all this kind of stuff, I have a free newsletter called Braun's Wallet that you can go ahead and check out. Every Tuesday in that newsletter, we're going to go over another easy to follow example on how to redeem points. And then we also just go over a few other topics and deals to know about as well. So if you want to go and sign up for that, what we actually did was we made a whole PDF of the redemption examples from the past 5 weeks of that newsletter, just in case you missed all that stuff. And you can go ahead and download that PDF completely for free with the link down below. So definitely go ahead and download that and then check out our newsletter in your inbox every single week. But next year for this video, let's go ahead and continue on with just a couple of hotel examples that I think a lot of people are really going to like for how to stay at Disney World on points, because that's just another super popular vacation spot. Now, many of the hotels that are on the Disney World property are going to be actually owned and then operated by Disney and can be super expensive. But the truth is there are plenty of other great properties that are close by that you can book with points that are going to get you to all the Disney parks out there and save you a ton of money at the same time. One option that I'd recommend for this, which is something we're going to walk through in just a minute here, is going to be the Hyatt Regency Grand Cypress Resort, which is a category 4 Hyatt property at the time of filming this. And as you can see, this hotel is really close to all the Disney parks, so transportation should be pretty easy. But if you want to stay almost directly on Disney property within walking distance to Epcot and Hollywood Studios, there's also going to be a few decent Marriott properties with the Swan Reserve, the Swan, and the Dolphin, which, funny enough, I actually remember staying at the last time I went to Disney World back in middle school. However, just be aware here that even though the Swan and Dolphin hotels are going to be very convenient, they're not always the very best use of your points because, as I did some searching around for this video, I was pretty consistently just getting below 1 cent per point in value when trying to book those, and that is not what we want to do here if we're trying to get the most out of our points. For example, even when I searched for a 5-night stay across many months using Marriott points, because that gets you the 5th night free benefit, I was finding prices like this stay in September and October for 239,000 points plus $253 in fees, which includes that 5th free night, or the straight up cash rate here for that same exact stay would be $2,289. Doing the cent per point calculation on that, we're only going to be getting around 0.85 cents per point, which again is pretty bad. However, if you do want to use a Chase Sapphire card and the Chase Travel Portal to book something like this for this example, you could use the 25 or the 50% points boost features over on those cards to help you find a better deal. For that, I confirmed the pricing for the same exact dates in this example was actually going to be almost $50 cheaper through Chase, which was cool to see. So for the Sapphire Preferred, the 25% points boost over on that card would make the points cost only a little bit over 161,000 points plus $225 in resort fees due at check-in, or with the Sapphire Reserve, the 50% points boost on that card would lower it to a little bit over 134,000 points plus $225 in fees. So the pricing within the Chase Travel Portal on both those cards is going to be much better than booking with points directly with Marriott. However, if you also happen to take advantage of an offer on a card like the Chase Marriott Bonvoy Boundless, for example, there's usually deals out there for 3 or even sometimes up to 5 free nights worth up to 50,000 points for each night that could help you to get some better deals through Marriott directly. So lots of options here with the Swan and with the Dolphin if you really want to stay within walking distance to those parks. And just in case you're curious, Chase, Amex, and Bilt all transfer directly over to Marriott, and sometimes they also run transfer bonuses, which can make booking through Marriott even more competitive. But if you have a car or you're willing to catch a shuttle or like a 2-minute Uber ride, then personally what I would do here is really think about taking a look at the Hyatt Regency Grand Cypress. So let's go ahead and walk through that one next here and talk about why it's such a good deal in many scenarios. Now, for transfer partners that have access to Hyatt, you are going to be limited to only Chase and Bilt here, so just keep that in mind. But honestly, those are both great programs that I really think everyone should take advantage of at some point, regardless, just because having access to Hyatt is one of the most talked about things in the whole Points and Miles community when it comes to hotels. So for this example, let's say we wanted to go over to Disney for a random 5-night stay in November of 2025. What we can do first is search up the dates that we want to book over on the Hyatt website, find the cash rate for a room that we want, and then go over to the checkout page. And on that page for this example, we'll see the total comes out to be $1,366. However, if we go back to the hotel page from the search results and then click on this box here to use points, and then we see some results that pop up from that, what that is going to mean is that the hotel here has award availability on those dates that we searched for. Now, if you also want to take a little bit of guesswork out of that whole search process, there are a few other tools out there that you can use to see a pretty accurate calendar view of award availability. So this right here is going to be a free tool called maxmypoint.com that I use sometimes, and all of these blue boxes right here all represent the availability on those dates. Now, once we know there's going to be availability to book with points, next here we also want to go to the top of the hotel page and click on the points calendar link, and that's going to open up another page that tells us exactly what the points price is going to be for each night. And now right here we can see that there's going to be some off-peak nights during those dates going for 12,000 points, and then some other standard nights going for 15,000 points. So if we add all those up for the 5-night stay that we selected, that would be 15, 15, 12, 12, and 12, which is 66,000 points total. And that's exactly how much we'd have to transfer over from Chase or Bilt to book that. Then the next step after that would be to actually go ahead and transfer those points. But again, first here, we got to make sure we calculate the cent per point value just to make sure we're getting a good deal. So for that, we would do $1,366 divided by 66,000 points. And that is going to give us around 2.07 cents per point, which is a pretty solid value for a hotel stay. Now, another thing that I want to mention here is that when we go over to the checkout page to actually book this, we're not going to get some sort of a free 5th night benefit like we get with Marriott, but we do get much more reasonable award prices, and we also do not get charged any resort fees on Hyatt stays booked with points, which is a huge plus as well. So yeah, getting over 2 cents per point here is going to be good value in my eyes, because normally I'm trying to aim for at least 2 cents per point or more whenever I'm transferring. But like I said, this is going to be a great option in the whole Disney area that's super affordable with the points pricing as well, because 66,000 Chase points is honestly pretty easy to earn. You can actually earn over 100,000 Chase points at a minimum from just the sign-up bonuses alone in the 3-card setup called the Chase Trifecta. So if you want to learn how that setup actually works and why it's so popular as a credit card strategy, then make sure you go ahead and check out this video over here on the screen next. But as always, thanks so much for watching.